SCP-980 Object Class Safe. SCP-980 is a featureless humanoid of average height and weight, indeterminate age and gender, and smooth gray-white skin. SCP-980 does not possess any facial characteristics, sensory organs, or features such as nails and hair. It is injured with relative ease, bleeding a viscous substance that appears similar to white paint. Analysis shows that SCP-980 possesses no internal organs, though it does have a skeletal structure comparable to that of a human. Despite the absence of eyes and ears, SCP-980 appears to display 20/20 vision and slightly above average hearing. Extensive testing has not explained this, though no abnormalities or anything to suggest other methods of sensory capability have been shown. SCP-980 is able to write in English when prompted, though typing is inefficient due to its influence quickly rendering the keys as well as the monitor unresponsive. SCP-980 naturally inflicts a simplification effect on objects and beings within a sphere 8 meters in radius around it. Said effect streamlines the features of objects while removing color, detail, and often function. Animals fur and distinguishing characteristics such as length of limbs and tails, presence of protuberances, etc., while humans develop more average facial features and lose or gain height and weight. This edges towards a rough average of around 1.7 meters tall with a weight of 76 kilograms. This is shortly followed by losing facets of their personality, with interests, habits, and memories commonly lost first. While brief exposure to SCP-980 is not physically harmful, prolonged exposure of organic beings with complex circulatory and respiratory systems commonly results in the simplification and fusion of parts located near one another. No subjects have reported pain from the process itself. A D-Class personnel used to test SCP-980's effects was affected on this level after approximately 30 minutes within SCP-980's containment area, with heart failure occurring almost immediately afterward. Autopsies show that the chambers of the subject's heart have been fused together. Physical results tend to be somewhat random, usually affecting the heart, lungs, arteries, stomach and intestines, the brain, and the sensory organs. While some cases are not fatal or even harmful in the case of sensory organs, further exposure to SCP-980 causes transformations at a rapid pace. SCP-980 was found at the apartment complex in. After several hours of exposure to SCP-980 caused deaths and mental harm to nearby civilians, as well as color and shape simplification to said apartment complex and many objects inside. At the time of acquisition, it was wearing heavy winter clothing and a hood. SCP-980 has not responded thus far to inquiries as to how it came to be, though Room 307 seemed to have been affected more than other nearby locations. In addition, the tenant of Room 307 was unaccounted for among the bodies of SCP-980's victims. Addendum 980-01. The standard SCP humanoid uniform issued to SCP-980 shortly after its recovery has remained in close proximity to SCP-980 for the entirety of its containment. Uniform showed steady results of simplification, but was still serviceable until 2000, when a researcher noticed that it had for the most part vanished. A thin cloud was present in SCP-980's containment cell, and the composition of the cell's air was noted to contain 0.0% more oxygen. Addendum 980-02. Lead was found to be one of the few substances that is highly resistant to SCP-980's natural effects on its surroundings. As such, SCP-980's containment cell is constructed entirely of lead, with leaded glass used in its windows. In a recent test, leaded glass showed increased resistance to SCP-980's effect, requiring replacement every 2 weeks. Incident Report 980-04. In the case of one D-Class subject, D-980-07, physical transformation did not seem to occur. The subject spent 3 hours in the presence of SCP-980 with no abnormal experiences and was suspected immune until prompted to leave, at which point the subject wordlessly refused and continued to sit in his chair with his eyes closed. The subject responded with a silent refusal each time he was prompted until he was threatened. The subject shoved the table to the side and sprung at SCP-980, embracing it. Another threat was issued, and the subject began sobbing, continuing to keep his mouth and eyes shut. The subject was removed from containment cell by security after he clung to SCP-980 and attempted to claw through his own eyelids with the use of his nails. Further study of SCP-980's properties has been documented in Experiment Log 980-06. Experiment Log 980-06. Subject D-980-07 was treated for abrasions on the face and remained in stable condition for weeks after Incident 980-04. Though it is suspected that his vision was impaired, the subject has not opened his eyes or mouth since. Testing has shown that while he is physically able to open and presumably use his sensory organs, D-980-07 consciously chooses not to. He has not responded to sounds or smells of any sort, including a handgun fired nearby. The subject did not show any surprise, though. Later tests show that his ears did sustain significant damage. SCP-980 has been questioned about D-980-07's actions and claims not to know of his intentions. It has little knowledge of its effects on human beings, but found his response unusual. It agreed with the interviewer on the tendency of its victims to react with physical changes rather than behavioral ones in later stages of development. Testing to examine SCP-980's effects on humans has resumed. Subject D-980-15. Facial changes, slight height gain, severe memory loss, vision loss, kidney failure, heart chamber fusion. Subject D-980-16. Severe facial changes, suspected personality changes, slight skin changes, lung and heart simplification. Subject D-980-17. Slight build changes, slight facial changes, memory loss, deafness, stomach and intestine fusion, slight heart chamber fusion, slight liver function loss, blindness. SCP-980 itself has stated that it does not and has never intended to induce such transformations in organic beings and inanimate objects alike. The validity of such statements is unverified, though the fact that similar results are found in all things with a certain distance of SCP-980, regardless of its level of focus or activity, seems to lend some amount of support to its claims. Though there is the possibility of manipulation or deception on the part of SCP-980, it appears probable that the effects themselves are an entirely different force than SCP-980 and have merely focused around it. Subject D-980-18. Build changes, habit loss, suspected personality changes, slight heart chamber fusion, blindness, heart failure. Subject D-980-19. Slight facial and build changes, slight suspected memory loss, hearing loss, liver failure, blindness, deafness, severe lung alteration. Subject D-980-20 was the second D-Class subject to show results similar to D-980-07. Though minor facial changes took place, similar behavioral changes were noted, and subject was introduced to D-980-07. Though at first neither appeared to notice the other, after approximately 15 minutes left in containment, D-980-07 began walking towards D-980-20 and stopped inches from his face. Both subjects remained still in this manner for the remaining hour and 45 minutes of the exposure. Subject D-980-21. Build and slight facial changes, personality changes, deafness, lung alteration, kidney failure, fusion of skin over eyes. Subject D-980-22. Severe memory and personality loss, liver failure, blindness, heart chamber fusion. Subject D980-23. Slight facial changes, severe personality loss, deafness, fusion of skin over ears, heart chamber fusion, muteness. D980-07 was exposed to SCP-980 a second time, albeit separated by a glass pane. Subject acted of his own accord for the first time in weeks to press himself against the glass, seemingly in an attempt to reduce distance between itself and SCP-980. SCP-980 backed away from the subject and sat against the far wall. D980-07 was wheeled towards SCP-980 to ensure further changes would have the opportunity to occur. SCP-980's body language displayed fear. Subject D980-24, severe build changes, personality changes, slight memory loss, blindness, deafness, fusion of skin over ears, lung alteration. Subject D980-25, severe build and facial changes, slight personality changes and memory loss, fusion of skin over eyes, deafness, blindness, muteness, kidney failure, heart chamber fusion. Subject D980-26, build changes, severe facial changes, severe personality loss, blindness, fusion of skin over eyes, fusion of skin over ears, muteness, liver failure, stomach and intestine fusion, deafness, fusion of skin over nose and mouth, fusion of heart chambers. D980-07 showed physical changes during its second exposure to SCP-980. Subject experienced hair loss and skin formation of smooth surfaces over its unused sensory organs. D980-07 has displayed remarkable improvement in navigation and self-awareness. Subject D980-27, severe build changes, facial changes, severe personality and memory loss, blindness, deafness, fusion of skin over mouth, ears, and eyes. Subject D980-28, severe build changes, slight facial changes, severe memory loss, deafness, fusion of skin over mouth, ears, and nose, muteness, fusion of skin over eyes. Subject D980-29, severe build and facial changes, severe personality and memory loss, blindness, deafness, fusion of skin over mouth, ears, nose, and eyes, muteness. Testing to examine SCP-980's effects on humans is suspended until further notice. Special containment procedures. SCP-980 is to be kept in a 3 meter by 3 meter by 5 meter lead room suspended in the center of a 25 meter by 25 meter by 25 meter containment area at site. Leaded glass is to be used instead. See Addendum. The door to this room is to be kept locked at all times. That SCP-980 is not under study. Personnel ranking above D class are not to enter the surrounding containment area due to mental and physical danger. No armed personnel or guards are required near the lift to SCP-980's cell, as it has not shown any means of escaping. In addition, the fall from its containment cell would injure it enough to prevent escape. No feeding or nutrition of any sort is necessary.